would you do if you found a room that only exists at midnight? I'm your host, Mr. Kriesel, and welcome to my dark place. Today we're going to be looking at a story from an unknown Reddit user. This is a story about a poor soul who found a room that only exists at midnight. Let's begin. When my grandfather passed away, he left me the house. It sat on a hill at the edge of town, a slouching Victorian relic swallowed in ivy and silence. He was a reclusive man, obsessed with timepieces. Every shelf cluttered with ticking reminders of passing moments. I hadn't seen him in over a decade. Our family had drifted, but as his only grandchild, I inherited everything. The lawyer handed me the key and an envelope with a note written in. My grandfather's shaky cursive never let the clocks fall out of sync, especially not at midnight. I assumed it was the ramblings of an old man slipping into dementia. The first few days in the house were odd. Every room was filled with clocks. Antique wall clocks, cuckoo clocks, and even massive grandfather clocks that seemed to hum through the wooden floorboards. They ticked constantly, but not together. It was chaos. Some fast, some slow. One night, I decided to fix them. I was bored, and the noise was driving me crazy. I spent hours adjusting pendulums, winding gears, and carefully aligning the hands of each clock to match my phone's time. When I finished, the house grew strangely quiet. I sat in the living room around 11:50 p.m., sipping tea, half asleep in a worn armchair. That's when I noticed that the ticking was no longer a jumble. It was steady, synchronized, like a heartbeat. As the digital clock on my phone hit 12 o'clock, all the clocks began to chime at once. The sound was deafening. It wasn't just noise, it felt alive. The walls shook. My cup rattled on the table. And then, I heard a low creaking sound from the hallway. I followed it, every hair on my body standing up. At the far end of the hall stood the largest grandfather clock in the house, nearly reaching the ceiling. But something was different. The back panel of the clock had swung open. Behind it, an archway, dark and narrow, lined with crumbling brick. It shouldn't have been there. I grabbed my phone and shined the light inside. The passage led into a descending staircase, cold air wafting up from the depths. Against every instinct, I stepped inside. The moment my foot touched the first stair, all the clocks went silent. I don't know how long I walked. The deeper I went, the colder it got, like the air had never seen sunlight. The walls were damp, pulsing with the smell of rotting wood and iron. Eventually, I reached a door at the bottom. It was old, heavy oak, banded with rusted metal. My hand trembled as I pushed it open. The room beyond was impossible. It was circular, perfectly symmetrical, with walls covered in clocks. But these were different. They were motionless, restless, all frozen at exactly midnight. In the center of the room was a single wooden chair, and someone or something was sitting in it. It was humanoid in shape, but wrong. Its limbs were too long. Its skin was a pale, stretched parchment. No eyes, just a smooth face with deep slits where a mouth should be. Its head tilted slightly at my presence, like it had been expecting me. I froze. My phone light flickered. The thing raised a hand, long fingers cracking like dry branches, and pointed at the wall behind me. I turned. There was a new clock on the wall. It was identical to the others, but freshly polished, clean. The brass plaque beneath it read, Nathaniel Locke. Midnight. That's my name. I stumbled backward, breath shallow. When I looked again, the chair was empty. And then I heard it. Footsteps echoing from the hallway behind me. I ran. I don't even remember the stairs. I just remember bursting through the passage and slamming the clock panel behind me. The house was dark. All the clocks had stopped. My phone said 12:01. I didn't sleep that night, or the night after. I left the next day and haven't returned since. I've tried telling people, but no one believes me. They think I had a breakdown. Maybe I did. But every night at midnight, no matter where I am, one clock in my apartment chimes. And sometimes I swear I hear creaking, like something opening, just behind me. So what do you think? How would you handle finding a secret midnight room? Would you go in? Or would you find the closest exit and leave? Thanks for listening and joining me in my dark place.